Hey, I am Katie Walker. I am the CEO of Revitalist. I am Katie of the Katie and Dave Show. Is this Dave?
Dave.
Law enforcement officer, also known as a Leo.
Cop.
Except in the zodiac sign, you're probably not a Leo.
No, I'm an Aries.
And I'm Sagittarius.
Yeah, we don't get along.
So that's why we're doing this show, because it's going to be very exciting so people can learn a lot of stuff. So today we're going to talk about, Dave doesn't know our topic.
Yeah, and that's not good for Dave.
Today we're going to talk about anxiety and depression. But, so everybody hears about anxiety and depression, but I want to put a little twist to it. Instead of saying anxiety and depression, to say, how can we look at anxiety and depression as activity and recovery?
You're going to have to get somebody besides me to answer those questions.
So, talking about anxiety that's here,
yes,
and depression that's here, lower. People who have high functioning anxiety, so let's put everything on a scale. People who have very high functioning anxiety are those people that are typically really good achievers, right? So, you know, people, business people sometimes have their own business. Police officers have very high functioning anxiety. Athletes, very high functioning anxiety.
We are athletes.
Yes, you are.
Why do you keep...
I did run 2.2 miles the other day.
I didn't.
And my legs locked up.
Yeah.
But who's to say that in moderation, which we all hear about, so we're supposed to live a life in moderation. We're not supposed to have a balanced life, a brain balance. You hear all this stuff about balance. You know, nothing in society that we do is balanced. In the States, you know, maybe other countries are different. But who's to say that anxiety that's up here isn't a form of hyperactivity or constantly to where we almost get stuck in this area of high functioning anxiety to where, I mean, I'm going to lose you, but you stay with me.
No, I agree with that
high
completely.
Functioning, so yeah,
Yeah.
but not just anxiety. So put anxiety into activity, overactivity up here, right?
Right.
So overactivity here. When we, being the athletes that we are, when we train, we know you can't do 2, 3, and 4 days like we do all the time without having your body to recover, or you're going to tear a muscle, something like that. So you have to have that moderation. Here's your anxiety. You got to have the moderation. You got to have effective recovery. If your recovery is not effective, then you get hurt in this high level of activity.
Real quickly, I don't train. I'm athletic.
Clearly.
But I don't train. My question's going to be on that. And I completely agree, because just for me, I think I eventually get to where I am at that just...
Mm-hmm. You can't turn it off.
And I can't turn it off.
You regulate there. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you teach yourself, or how do you as an example, you saying you take a day off from training because you need to let your muscles heal and everything to recover. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you get when you're here. I don't know how that little thought process gets in and convinces you to go to
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I wonder if that's why. So if you look at it as activity and recovery, and we're going to put anxiety and depression in the same space. So say you're there to the very, very high functioning anxiety part, and you don't know how to get down to here. Well, what happens to the people who maybe we're down here in the depression zone, but maybe it's just stuck. We're just stuck in almost this recovery. It's off. You know, it's just off balance.
Well, I think you have both.
Right, exactly. I think we all do.
I think I go here, and I'm up here forever until it just completely exhausts me. And then I plummet completely to the bottom, and then there is nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's
because okay, physics, to every action, there's an opposite and equal
right.
reaction. So if we're here, and then we go here, that's anxiety and depression, but is that also activity and recovery? And if we can learn to moderate it here in the middle to where we have 1-a-days with their working out, and to where we have effective recovery, you know, like it's the same way, like stretch before you work out, you know, go to the sauna, go get a massage, take a day off, you know, things like that when you're working out as an athlete. So how we all know that physically, that's your physical when you're working
right.
out. But what if the brain did a similar thing? Because as you know, I mean, a lot of times we get stuck in go, right? Especially in the States, like we just get stuck in this go momentum. What if we were able to take a break, take a vacation, a mental health vacation or whatever we call it, you know, but just to take a vacation, because we always feel better. We're like, gosh, I should have done that 3 months ago. Is that the same way as if we worked out 21 days in a row without getting recovery, without allowing the lactic acid to go down, without allowing, you know, I mean, effective stretching and blood flow and all this garbage that you're supposed to do? And not go, I mean, I went out and ran my 2.2 miles and I hadn't worked out in a year.
Oh, so you're bragging now.
No, I didn't.
Well, I walked up a big hill with my new Crocs on, and it was 107 degrees, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna live. but I did, because I'm an athlete.
Because you let yourself recover.
Here's okay. Let me present this to you, and like right now, I'm up here, which means is I've spoken with you, you know, all the time about. I'm not able to turn it off. Mm-hmm. Like it's starting to spin more and more and more. I think the unfortunate thing is I've not met anybody at all. 0 people
that are as cool as you.
Well, you're.
That's true.
I mean, but that will talk and let me know what their experience is like.
Because they don't know how to analyze it. Because we've been told it's out of your control. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't know when I'm up here. I have to trust, and I don't mean anything bad about it, but I have to trust what you tell me. Because no one else will say, "Hey, I know what you're saying there, and this is what Jesus, we got to talk about this."
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's another thing. So, activity and recovery, anxiety and depression, whatever, right? I mean, that's those, and maybe if we look at mental health as activity and recovery instead of anxiety and depression, maybe we can learn to do it here again, to bring it back together to where we are more in the zone. Because we can tell when we're getting out of the zone, the same way as when you're playing sports.
Yes.
You know, because we know that.
Yes.
That's all we know.
It's like when you strike a drive right down the middle, or it's going to have a little.
You get out driven.
Yeah. You know. I completely. I don't know how. I guess for me, it's. I guess it's for you. Is figuring out how to get to the recovery.
Oh yeah, it's to recognize it. You have to recognize it, when to stop. You have to recognize when to stop and when to turn it off. And if you can't turn it off, then that's a weakness in your structure. So there's something in your brain called your salience network. Salience network is when
mine's not networking very well.
Right. Well, but I don't know if it is or not, but
it's not.
but when stuff comes in, what does your brain do with it? Right? It's supposed to categorize it and prioritize it and drop it. That's a healthy mind. Prioritizing, categorizing, drop it.
Okay, so I don't. Yeah, mine sucks.
So they're learning that the brain can actually, you can do certain techniques. So your meditation, your massage stuff, all this, even healthy foods, rumination. I don't think Greg's Pizza's on there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
but
Level goes down just like this because I can see it.
Well, and here's the you know, so you got all these healthy brain things, right? But the fact of the matter is, what I'll tell people a lot of times is, if you're ruminating to where you don't feel like you're effectively categorizing and prioritizing, and it's just spinning kind of thing, I'll tell people, you know, that's rumination, right? So rumination's a weakness in the mind. You're supposed to be able to break ruminations. So one thing that I think is good to break rumination would be like to grab something like this cross tie. What are these called? It's not cross tie.
I call it a sandwich.
A sandwich tie?
Yeah.
Because
you know bread, it's a bread tie.
Bread tie.
Yeah.
Bread tie, as also, that's Dave's trade name. But when you're trade name for the bread tie. But when you are ruminating with stuff, and you got to recognize if it's emotional kind of thing, if you can turn it off. If you can't turn it off, sometimes that's emotion.
Rumination, which is
what's you just can't get off your mind. You can't slow your mind down.
Okay, so what would I need? What's a term I would use for rumination? Because that's just
thought looping.
Thought looping?
No. Thought.
Do you even know me? I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm thought looping right now.
I can't get off my mind.
Rumination is stuck to me.
Fragmented thoughts. Stuck.
Yeah, it's
sure.
just stuck. Yeah.
Okay, I hear stuck.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, as I said, sometimes you have to break down words to me and stuff.
Stuck
yeah, so for me, stuck, when you say stuck, I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, so when you're stuck.
I know what rumination means, but
I look at stuck as I'm standing in front of a stop sign and I'm stuck in the mud.
Okay, but I look at right now, like when I'm close to calling you, I'm stuck. I mean, I am. I'm stuck. It's I've not got to that point yet. I mean, it's something we work on. But yeah, I mean, it's stuck. I mean, honestly,
okay.
And that's why I said it would be nice to talk to someone else that gets stuck and just see if they get stuck like I did.
Yeah, because your stuck definition is different than my stuck.
Yeah, right.
I'm stuck in sand.
And
I'm frozen. You're not frozen when you're stuck, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm not frozen. I'm stuck.
Stuck. Okay.
And wouldn't somebody like to hang out with me?
He's kind of cool.
I'm real cool. I'm not kind of.
I mean, you're an athlete. He gets it.
I do.
Clearly.
But you know, I mean, that's cool.
It's a cool thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the breadstick.
Stuck.
Breadstick. If you're able to start, when I tell people to try to like stop ruminating, they're like, I don't know, I have no idea how to do that. To where if people are able to train their brain on something that has no emotional value, like this guy, if you're able to look at this little black straw here thing.
It's a
wire. But if you're able to look at this and it's, you know, it's what, 1/4 centimeter?
Yes.
And then it's maybe, how much is that? 6 inches long? 4 inches long?
It's about 4.
4 inches. And then you think, why did they do it this long? Why did they do it black? Why wouldn't they do it pink? You know, and you think, you know, why would they actually make a wire in the middle of a plastic? Almost turn your mind into an engineer-ish kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're taking the abstract thoughts that you're constantly having and you're putting them into more concrete thoughts. So you're naturally balancing your brain. Because the polarities, activity, recovery, abstract, concrete. So they'll tell you, even people who have panic attacks, people who are actively having panic attacks, if they do small math problems, 1 + 2, 3 + 4, 4 + 5, you can't have a panic attack while you're solving those problems. Because,
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, so it's concrete and so it's physics. Every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So if you're over here in the abstract world try to do the concrete thing and see if they balance each other, and they'll break, and eventually they'll break each other. And that's kind of the problem. Not the problem. Well, it can be a problem. But a lot of people with a lot of so your engineers, your lawyers, sometimes they're too concrete. They don't have enough abstract. You got to have a balance of each.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But then too, so here's the other thing I was thinking about. Therapists, which I am not, but I've worked around a lot of them, say the word energy a lot. In medicine, we don't say that word ever. But we will say hyperexcitable cells. So I think in the therapy world, you have energy. Medical world, you have hyperexcitable cells. They're both the same kind of thing. So if you think of hyperexcitable cells, so here's a cell, my little hand. Let's make a little cell. Here's my cell. Here's a normal one. And then here'd be a hyperexcitable one, right? So what is that? That's overactivity.
Yes.
So how do you...
Overstimulation.
Right. So all these things that calm everything down. So if we're not doing things in moderation, kind of the point of all this, what I was thinking about is, if we're not doing things in moderation, does one system just get, that becomes our new norm? And that's like, yep, here you go. You're good. You're going to stay up here because that's all I know. I don't know how to recover anymore. Or do we recover too much to where do we go?
I would stay here without kidding.
Yeah,
I would. I mean, I would. That's norm.
Mm-hmm. But that's what you've auto-regulated to. You've been conditioned to be there.
Why did you do that to me? Oh, you're saying you didn't. You're saying I did it to myself. Huh?
I'm saying the environment sometimes that we're in condition us to be certain ways.
And
if we don't look at the opposite reaction to neutralize it, then that's all we know.
Well, I think that's what you have to look at, the opposite of it, because I didn't intentionally condition myself to be here.
Sure.
Nor did I realize I was going there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you're saying is, unfortunately for a lot of people, they're already going to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and if we're not aware of it,
there's nothing you could do that you weren't able to see them before they got to there.
Well, but I think it's awareness too. It's awareness that if I'm doing 16-hour days, like I'd have to take time to reset that.
When do you plan on doing that?
To keep the balance. I fell asleep last night, so I ate. I didn't eat all day, and then I ate a really big meal, and then I fell asleep 30 minutes later around 8 p.m. Like a little baby. You fed me.
No, that's not true.
That is true. It was close to. It was close to 8 p.m.
No.
8:30.
No, because I think I made a comment.
After 7 o'clock.
You know what? You might be right.
He used to never agree with me.
Okay.
It's documented.
8:21.
8:30.
So, yeah. Anyways, what that boils down to is I was jabbing at her because she was still working last night. Right.
Well, but I think too, though.
Because that's every day.
But I think too, we all have to hold each other accountable. I think, being in the field that I work in, which is nursing, administration, anesthesia,
CEO.
Whatever I'm doing. CEO.
You're the man. Or, well,
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you are.
I think that's a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it's I could say you're the lady, but
just yeah.
The man just like, that's what people have always said. And if you're called the man, you're it. You're the snizzle.
For rizzle.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to rap.
We are athletes, though.
No question.
So anyway, we'll end it at 20 minutes. It's 19:07 right now. So my thing is...
We're on 22 minutes. I don't like 20.
Okay.
Okay, so...
My thing is, you hold each other accountable. If you're getting too abstract, find something concrete to think about to try to break it. If you're too concrete in all your stuff and you don't have enough abstract, then you got to recognize there has to be a balance there. Our brains are very balancing. It's been proven that our brains like balance. If we are not balanced in one area, then the other part, it's like a pie graft. And Jeff draws he's a horrible drawer, but he's really smart.
Yes,
he draws a pie
cool,
graft, and he'll show you that if this piece of the pie, let's
First
talk
of
about
all,
Greg's pizza.
is this your pie?
This is Greg's pizza.
That's not a good pie. Oh.
So here's your pizza. If there's a little tiny slice here, then this slice is going to be bigger because it's going to compensate. So your brain compensates the balance because it always wants to be completely full. So, it's the same way with like suicidality. Why do people feel suicidal sometimes? Because they feel out of control in these areas. So they have suicidal thoughts. And unfortunately, the abnormal suicide thoughts are, you'll be okay. I'll get you back in control if you kill yourself. To where, as long as we recognize those are abnormal, because I don't know how many people you've talked to who have effectively killed themselves and said, hey man, did you feel actually in control or did you lose all control? Pretty sure they would have said, I probably lost all control.
Oh, it is. Right. That's what it is.
But it's an abnormal thought saying, oh, I'll get you back in control. No. Not until we can talk, not until I can effectively interview someone who has killed themselves to see, did they actually regain control? Because I'm pretty sure you don't.
No.
Right.
No, I mean.
And people, right. But nobody thinks about it. So 70% of people have suicidal thoughts. It's common, right? Believe it or not, it's common.
Very common.
Yeah. But when you have them, you got to be able to analyze them effectively. Not overanalyzing, that's trauma. But you got to be able to be like, huh, that's weird. Why did that happen? Because the more reaction we get from something that we do in life, the more our brain's like, oh, that got a reaction. I should do it again. And that becomes this horrible pattern and stuff. But there's a lot more patterns, I believe, in the brain than what we're giving it credit for. So
me personally didn't give the brain any credit 4 years ago. I did. I think I think I was like what I only had a who gives a flying flipper attitude kind of thing to smacked in the face.
I think that happens in life sometimes.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to, you're talking about balance and stuff. I'm trying to find just a little bit of the who gives a flying flipper again to balance me out, because right now I just, I worry about way too much, and I don't appreciate life sometimes because I'm worried about the next thing.
So emotional aspect, I was talking about that the other day. So when things are too emotionally led, that's when we need to work on the objectivity. So that's the opposite, equal and opposite reaction. We got to work on the objectivity because you probably had too much objectivity at one time with no emotions, and now you're overly emotional with not enough objectivity. So you're like, bring it back in, kind of thing.
So you're saying I need to carry a bread tie around?
Breadstick.
No, if that's a breadstick, I'd be eating it.
I'm saying that we need, when you're too abstract, which is emotions, then somehow we've got to bring more concentric thoughts in there. Concrete.
Folks, that's a new word for me today, concentric. I will get back to you with what that is. I know I have no clue what it is.
Concrete. Black and white. Math problems.
Why do we not just use those words for me?
Oh. Black and white, math problems, concrete.
I mean, listen. I'm going to break the news to her. Most people are watching this because of me. Not because of you, so therefore break down automatically and say rocks, sticks, paper.
Black and white.
Black and white. Red and blue. But
no numbers higher than 3.
I think I think that's why I come to you, trust you, is because you're always thinking, you're always trying to figure this out. You're not satisfied with just how it's going. You want to improve it.
I agree with that.
So,
but I think that's mental health in general. We're gonna make it
I don't think so.
No, not in general society. I'm just saying. I'm saying this big guy upstairs.
See me get defensive there.
Right. I'm saying big guy upstairs is who we need to work on, and we need to figure out the thought processes. Because there's patterns that we're seeing with everybody.
Need more of these.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna work on that.
I do. I mean, I just think and once again, I'm speaking from my experience, and this is the way I feel when I come into a place. Is if it makes me nervous coming in, then I'm way behind already, because to get me there was a huge step. But if I can't feel comfortable when I get there, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And
well, I think that's a big piece of everything.
I think if I think this is just more non-traditional family oriented, as in she ain't my sister, but it's like she's
pretty close to twins.
Almost. I'm the prettier one. but I do. I think it's just a great thing, and I don't know. Can you ever say there's a cure?
I don't know. We're not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's.
I think if we can start putting physics and neuroscience and opposite and equal reactions, and we start treating the brain like it's an effective organ, and just recognize the complexity of it, then maybe we can start breaking down the behavioral aspects versus the functional aspects, and maybe that's where we start figuring this junk out.
I personally don't think there's a cure. I just think that, and I think there's not a cure, because you're going to live life, and if you live life, you're always going to be hit with something.
I agree with that.
So,
it's
but I think
Mood is cyclical.
I think that ketamine, I think Revitals, I think they're on the right path to making my life as easy as possible to live every day. You know, I've never been told I'm not going to struggle.
Thrive.
But yeah, and I don't think, I think I'm getting to where I'm doing more than surviving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Well, a lot of people that are struggling with mental health stuff, they're in the survival mode all the time. So we got to move away from that to where, come on.
But you got to be willing to seek that help.
Yeah, you're true. Yeah, that's right.
You know, and I didn't at to begin with. So I mean, I understand when people, they don't want to do that. But as I said, I'm sitting here. I asked eventually for help. Was fortunate enough to eventually find the help I needed. But I also just said I had nobody ever want to just talk to me about how they're doing. Mm-hmm. And
because it doesn't exist yet. We got to
break that.
That's why we're doing this. That's why it's the Dave and Katie show.
Notice I'm first. That's because she did a little poll, and I come out way ahead on the votes. And
more audience.
I look good there.
So we'll wrap it up because we're 5 minutes over a 22-minute mark. So
you might as well go to 30 now.
No,
I think
I got people waiting. So point of this conversation is, with mental health, maybe we should consider an equal and opposite reaction. When we're over here, maybe there's another category for over here, to where maybe we can moderate those guys and be in the middle. And then two, to look out and hold each other accountable. I think that's a good thing, and just say, hey, I think you're overdoing it. Hey, you doing okay? Hey, you know, and do that. I think that's what you do. Maybe that's the way you start.
I agree 100% on that. 100%.
So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. Comment below our video. Like it. I think there's only one up like. It can be either for Katie or Dave. You can say either or, which one you want to go to.
What?
It's probably gonna be Dave.
Are you trying to start a mini war? Because you know I'll go on there and I'll create 50 different accounts, and I'll like Dave every time. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
We'll submit this one to Oprah. So.
Oh.
If anybody has any questions or
I was looking under the chair in case there's like a keys to a new car.
If there's any police officers out there that would like to speak to someone,
yes,
I think we got a really awesome person here who'd be willing to help with anything that you all go through, because I'm here to help, but I have no idea what you all go through day to day. This one does.
She can get a hold of me, and if she can't, call the Greenville Police Department and ask for me. They'll know who you're talking about. Just say the good-looking one that's on these videos. Yeah, they'll know. But honestly, I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We appreciate you for watching, and we'll be back for our 3rd episode sometime soon.